Hi, this is DJ Tina, host of HMTV Canada E-Zine. On the phone with me today is Jane from Bhraka. Hi Jane, how is the music scene in Black Rapids, Ontario currently?
Well, Black Rapids is actually in Ottawa. I just call it Black Rapids for sentimental reasons because it's where I grew up. And the music scene in Ottawa is actually great these days. There's a lot of new venues opening and new radio stations popping up and all sorts of things happening. It's really picking up. Probably because we're so close to Montreal. Maybe it's a little offshoot of that.
Maybe. Montreal's doing pretty good too right now, I hear, in the music scene.
Yeah, and with Capital Music City Hall, there's a lot of bands that come through here, really cool indie bands that used to pass right by, so it's changed quite a bit. It's great.
Congratulations on your current release, Flowerbed of Oblivion. Are you working on any new material and video production at the moment?
Yes, we are probably about a third of the way through the material for our next album. Just writing, and I would say we're in pre-production for video. We're going to do at least one video from this album. We're just looking for for the right director and putting together the concept and all that stuff at the moment.
Can you tell us about Flowerbed of Oblivion? Anything from messages, inspirations, challenges to recording this CD?
That's a big question. Well, there's probably a lot of messages on the album. Probably in every song has messages, and as far as inspirations, well, just life. I think experience, filtered through the stream of consciousness, through the subconscious mind, and the emotional landscape, and put into music and poetry. Challenges. There was a lot of challenges recording the CD. That's for sure. It took us about a year and a half to finish. There were people died, people were born, people broke up and came together, and all sorts of crazy things happened. It was quite a cathartic experience, I'd say, for everybody involved. It was great. We all came out better in the end, I think.
You want to hear something uncanny? Everybody that I've talked to in 2007 went through a year of trials and tribulation.
Is that right?
Yeah, everybody that I know around me, my friends, everybody that I work with in the store, all my friends through the internet, like everybody was going through something. Either somebody had a baby, or they lost somebody, or they lost their jobs. Like everybody seemed to be going through a lot of changes in their life and trials and tribulations.
Oh, well, I'm glad we weren't alone. Maybe it was just one of those years,
I'm beginning to think it was.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
There's got to be something weird about it, because everybody was on the same wavelength.
Something in the air.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's true now that you mention it.
Yeah,
I think
it
about
is
it.
true.
Yeah.
And I think now, this year is just a reflection of what everybody went through last year, and I think we're just learning from a lot of it. I think maybe last year could have been a wake-up call for everybody, and now this year we're just more careful this year, if anything.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of learning going on, and maybe we're coming at the other end of that now, and hopefully reap some of the rewards.
Yes, I hear you.
Yeah.
How does the content of the songs in the album explore the universal themes like isolation, desire, disillusionment, love, war, death, and redemption?
I see you've read our website.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't say that it necessarily explores all those themes too literally, but more of the feeling behind those sentiments are some of the feelings that I try to create in the songs, just or the way I feel about those things, those things like war and isolation, and sometimes it can just be with the choice of a particular note in a certain spot, that's and the way that makes me feel, and hopefully that translates to other people as well. Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes isolation could be an easy one to answer for most artists, because usually when the world is gone bad, well, like most artists, we'll shut the world out and start painting or singing or drawing or writing songs.
Well, exactly. It's hard not to express those things in art, because they are universal, and everybody feels those things, or are exposed to these things at some point in their life. So,
have you received any brief CD reviews for Flower Bed of Oblivion by any DJs where fans can request your music on radio?
Well, actually, the reviews have been really great so far. Thank God, knock on wood. Yeah, the response has been great. We've just been sending it out to get reviewed now more. We've had a couple of written reviews, and they've been great. The feedback from the fans has been great. They waited for a long time for the CD, and they're pretty happy with it. So that was a relief. And yeah, we've been getting some radio play here and there. We people can request it anywhere. They might not have it yet, but if they ask for it, they might get it and play it. I don't know. They've been playing it on some of the college stations and a few stations around town here, the ones that have it so far. We haven't really sent it out too much yet. We just got a new manager, so hopefully he can help us with those things, because we're not too good at that sort of thing. We're kind of sitting on it a bit, but hopefully it'll get out there a little more soon.
Has there been any DJs that quoted that this was the best album of the year?
Actually, yeah, there was one DJ he has a show called La Villa Strangiato on, I believe it's Ottawa Radio, CHUO. He says one of the best albums of the year. He's so it wasn't the only one. There was a couple he really, really liked. So I guess, but ours was right up there. So yeah, we were pretty happy about that. It was kind of unexpected. Yeah, it was great to hear that. So, and
have you received any honorary awards for Flower Bed of Oblivion?
Well, I'm hoping the Grammy's in the mail, but I'm not sure. They might have got the wrong address. I don't know. Not that I know of. I mean, maybe that's something to come. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not sure what an honorary award is.
Well, if something like you've entered any contests or festivals or anything like that?
No, we haven't really done anything like that yet. We're not really. I don't know. I'm not sure if we will either, but we'll see. Maybe.
Do you have any spiritual influences in your music?
That's a tough question. I would say I have more spiritual questions in the music, definitely. I tend to ask a lot of questions, open-ended questions. We're definitely not a Christian rock band or anything like that. Everybody in the band has different beliefs, and that's fine. We hope our fans do too. We have fans that believe in all sorts of things, and that's great. I think the common thread is hopefully that, everybody has an open mind and respect for each other's beliefs. But I don't, certainly not preaching anything in the music, maybe just asking questions.
Who writes your songs, and what do you express in your lyrics?
Actually, my mom writes most of the songs. No, I'm just kidding. I would say at this point I write most of them, some with the band too. I write all of the lyrics. And what do I express in the lyrics? Well, I try to express everything that's going through my mind. It's like a big filter, and try to filter it down to what I think is the essence of what's going on in my own emotional landscape or my subconscious mind. And yeah, anything's open game when you're writing. So I don't think it's limited to a certain thing. I think that's a big arena, hopefully, that I'm expressing.
Can you tell us the current members in Bhraka and the roles in the band?
Sure. My band, I love my band. They're a great bunch of guys. We've been together for about 5 years now, I think, since 2003. We have Phil and John Mark Demaray on drums and bass, respectively. Or I like to call them the Brothers Grimm, and they're great because they've been playing together for their entire lives, so they communicate very well, so that's good to have for your rhythm section. And of course we have our guitar god, Mike Denis, from Gatineau, and his playing speaks for itself. If you listen to the album, he's great. He's very good at what he does, and he's a great guy. He spends a lot of time lost in the woods, but he's great. And I'm not kidding either. And we have Alan Kinney on keyboard. He's classically trained. I call him the daddy of the band. He's the one that can tell you any note you're looking for, what note you're playing, what chords. He's the one that reads music, and he's brilliant. He really is. He's a great guy.
Why was the band's name changed from Year of the Gone to Bhraka?
Well. There's a couple reasons for that. Well, it first started out where I really liked the name Year of the Gone, but I found myself I just liked the way it felt, the image of it, or the idea it conjured. But I found myself in loud nightclubs and with people asking me what the name of the band was, and I would say Year of the Gone, and they could never really understand me, and because it was so loud, and they'd be like, Year of the what? And then I found myself yelling, Gone, Gone in this nightclub, and they'd always mishear it. They'd hear gun or gong or bong or whatever or something, and I just got fed up with that. So I decided to change the band name, and I chose Bhraka, which means cloudless, or a time of no clouds, or a cloudless heaven. It's actually strange how that kind of happened backwards, where I was working on some graphic design stuff with some images, one of which is inside the album cover, and I just had the word cloud, the idea of a cloudless heaven came to me, and I kind of looked it up, and I found that it turned out to be Bhraka is a Sanskrit word that means a cloudless heaven, and that was it. I thought it was cool. It stuck, and it's actually, people seem to like it, and they seem to hear it the first time, which is odd, because it's kind of a stranger name and seems even more obscure, but for whatever reason it's sticking a little better. So
it's sticking out.
Yeah,
it's different from the rest of the band names that are out there.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, yes.
I thought it was a beautiful image, and I like the idea of a cloudless heaven being kind of a contradictory image, where you think of the Western image of heaven as being a place full of clouds, built on clouds, angels walking on the clouds. But if you took if the heaven had no clouds, then you might fall, and kind of strange. But I don't know. It's just,
or you might land on a star.
You might land on a star, yeah.
You never know what can happen.
Yeah, that could burn.
Or you could float.
That might hurt.
Or you could float, or one or the other.
Yeah.
How has Bhraka's music evolved or changed since the band first started playing together in 2003?
I think we trust each other a lot more now. We're willing to play outside the box a little more, which is great. And I'm really looking forward to doing another album, because we've kind of cut a lot of ground with the first one. We've gotten over a lot of hurdles, and I think that it's going to be a different experience making another one. It's going to be better in a lot of ways. I mean, it might be harder too in some other ways, but I think we trust each other more, and we're willing to take more risks. And because we there's a lot of anxiety building up when a band doesn't really know what's going to happen with the first album, and whether it's going to get done or done right, and if people are going to like it or if we're going to like it, and that kind of all got resolved, and everybody likes it, and everybody's in for another one. So it's going to be, I think it's just going to be all around tighter, and we're going to be able to take some leaps and bounds creatively, I hope.
It sounds like everybody's working together as a team, so that's one positive note.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it can only get better.
Yeah, we are definitely a tight group of friends, and we're definitely a team.
Who helps in mixing, recording, and mastering Bhraka's music production?
Well, Tim Greencorn produced The Flower Bed of Oblivion. He works at a little Chicago studios here in Ottawa, and he's brilliant. He's very, very good at engineering and producing and all the stuff he does. And Joe Carvalho mastered it in Toronto. He's done a lot of big Canadian bands came out of his master at his place. He's also produced Pilot, Speed, and their breakout album and all that. So we definitely had some good help with the producing of the album. Yeah, we were lucky there that we found them.
Hey Jane, can you tell us about your musical background and the instruments you've mastered in?
Well, I don't think I've mastered anything, but I play acoustic guitar mostly. I fool around with keyboards a little bit, but not really. Mostly I just play guitar, and mostly self-taught. My big brother taught me a little bit when I first started, and then I just continued on my own through books and just learning other people's songs, Neil Young songs and Pink Floyd songs and things like that.
That's impressive.
Thanks, thank you. But yeah, I'm not as good as Mike on the guitar, but I get by enough. I know the chords so I can write some songs, and I like to do a little finger picking, but I certainly haven't mastered it, not yet.
Well, you're getting there. You're learning.
Yeah, I'm learning. I try.
What music videos have you directed, appeared on Much Music, and are you still working in film production?
Well, I studied film in LA, and when I was when I was studying film, I did a couple of short films and a few music videos. And one of them they played on Much Music. This was a while ago. The band doesn't exist anymore, but the video went over pretty good. It was pretty funny. It was very campy and low budget, but it got on the indie spotlight, and it was called Professor Potamus. If anybody wants to check that out, maybe I'll put it up on our MySpace because it is pretty funny.
That'd be awesome.
And yeah, that's it. But, I did a few music videos, and it's a lot of work, and I got a little burnt out, and so and then the music took over, so I switched to music for a while, but I love doing film, too. Hopefully one of these days I can do some more of that.
Can you tell us about your reality show, Imagine, of VH1 MTV? What happened to this show?
Yeah, that was a while ago. That was when I was in LA, and I was actually playing an open mic, and I was approached by these casting directors to do a reality show for a pilot for VH1 and MTV and Imagine, and I'm not sure what they were going to call the show, but they followed me around for a while, for about a week, with cameras and interviewing and filming and all this stuff, and I don't really know what happened with the show. First, they kicked me off because I was being difficult or something. I don't know. I was just joking around during one interview on a rooftop in downtown LA, and I jokingly said I was going to throw myself off the building to increase their ratings. And somehow they got a little scared and decided I was a loose cannon or something. So they didn't want to, it might have been all that Jack Daniels I was drinking during the interviews and all that, but I don't know. Yeah, they said I needed to show them all to myself because that was too much drama, but actually the show itself, I didn't make it past the pilot stage. It had some internal problems. I think they fired the director, so something was going on. I wasn't really privy to all the inside scoop, but I don't think they actually finished the show or got it on TV, which is actually I'm kind of grateful for, because I don't think I'm really cut out to be for reality TV. I'm
Maybe not reality.
A little shy. I didn't really like being followed around all the time with cameras and all that. It was a little kooky.
Well, maybe not reality TV, but definitely try to give Hollywood music TV a try in the future if you're thinking about becoming a VJ and you like doing it.
Yeah, doing interviews and stuff that's different. But they were following me around for hours and hours, like all day long, and kind of day in the life, day after day, and so that got a little strange. But I don't mind doing,
not having some private time would get a little strange, for sure. I agree with you.
Yeah, I was a little shy. I'm probably a little better now. A little more comfortable with it.
They got to realize that you need time to yourself.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was a crazy situation, but it was fun. It was definitely an interesting experience, that's for sure.
Sounds like it.
And I got paid, so I was happy. I really needed the money at the time, so they paid my rent.
What are your live performances like, and do you sell CDs at your shows?
The live performances are fun. We really like playing shows. We haven't done a whole whack of shows so far. We've done a bunch, but not, we haven't done a big tour or anything yet. But because mostly we've been in the woodshed working on stuff. But when we do play live, we have a great time, and I think people seem to really like it. I've started building a video projection to go along with the show that I'm putting together myself, and with my whole film school experience. So that's coming in handy now. So that's fun, and it's going to make it cool. It's going to make it trippy and psychedelic, and we're looking forward to. We're hopefully going to book some shows pretty soon.
So are you planning the tour for this year to promote Flower Bed of Oblivion?
Yeah, hopefully we're going to start lining some stuff up now that we have our manager helping out. We got to the point where we needed to add some more people to help us out with that sort of thing. But yeah, hopefully we'd love to go over and play in Europe. Really, hopefully that we can work something out to do that. That's really what we want to do. But yeah, we're going to do some shows and sell some CDs at the shows and promote the thing.
Before we wrap up our interview, can you tell us where on the internet fans can access your music, buy your CD, and any Anna Bhraka band merchandise?
Sure. Yes, I'd love to. That's very important. It's available to download all over the internet. Pretty much worldwide distribution through TuneCore, so you can get it on eMusic, Napster, Rhapsody, iTunes, all those places. You can also check our website, www.annabhraka.com, and check out the links and that'll take you to all the places where you can find it. And we'll probably start selling CDs off our website soon too. And maybe we're trying to line up some distribution, get it into some stores, but we'll see.
Any last words?
Word. How about peace and love for Ringo?
Thank you, Jane, for allowing our e-zine to interview Anna Bhraka. You rock.
Thank you very much, Tina. I really appreciate you calling.